Welcome back to our channel Teaching and Learning. In this channel we mainly talk about business communication, English language and IELTS practice. So first of all, before starting today's video, I want to request all of you, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe our channel if you really want to learn something about English language, how to speak and how to write academic and professional English, and for the everyday communication also. More than that, if you are the students of business studies, if you want to learn business English, business communication, then this channel is better for you. Or if you are also preparing for the IELTS test, or you are thinking to teach to study in abroad, so you will be also benefited from our channel. Well, let's start today's video. So in today's video I'm going to talk about the business English, and here is a course, one textbook which is assigned to the University of Tribhuvan University, Nepal, and the students they can be benefited from this video. I'm going to start the series of videos in this playlist. The name of the playlist is Business English, in bracket BBS. Okay, BBS level students. It is not only for the students of BBS, because here are some stories, some essays and some poems. They can be equally beneficial for those who really wants to have the exposure in English language, in English literature and in English reading and writing. So they will be benefited from this upcoming videos. So today I'm going to start, and if you really want to get the videos from business English from this subject, you can go to directly to the playlist Business English BBS, and you can find out this video. So before I starting, let me show you the textbook, and this is the textbook. This textbook is this one, and on the basis of this there are altogether as you know, there are altogether 13 units. Each units, either they have 3 or 4 lessons, and they are categorized into various topic. For example, in unit 1 there is invitation, in unit 2 there is ancient tales, in unit 3 education, unit 4 action and consequences, unit 5 television, and unit 6 is cross-cultural bridges. Unit 7 is cultural anthropology, unit 8 the human condition, unit 9 natural science, 10 humor and satire, 11 critical and creative thinking, 12 love, 13 life and death. So in this way there are altogether 13 units. We go these units, and once we check those topic of these units, they are very useful for our day-to-day and professional both life. Not only for the students, we can be equally benefited from this, because look at the topic. There is the topic of education, television, love, life and death, human condition, cultural anthropology. These are very useful topics for our professional and personal life also. So without making any delay, let's start unit 1. Unit 1 is invitation. So invitation, this poem is written by Shel Silverstein, USA. He writes about his reader. Any type of readers are warmly welcomed in to read his poem, because it is the creative, and it is the product of imagination. So any type of readers can be equally benefited. So he invites all types of readers in this poem. Before going for the four level interpretation. And what is four level interpretation? Let me read out this one. Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you are a pretender, come sit by my for we have some flags, golden tails to spin. Come in, come in. This way the poem ends. So here in this poem, the poet mainly tries to invite all type of readers, because in the society there are good people, there are bad people, there are genuine people, there are fake people. Some of them are pretenders, some of them are liars, some of them play music, some of them pray for others, well-wishers. So society or community is the bunch of various types of flowers. We cannot say that some people are good, some people are bad. Mainly in literature, people can come and they can read, and at least they can learn something from the text. That's the main motive of the poem. Before analyzing this poem, let me talk about how do we mainly analyze, how do we study the text over here. We study the text, the lessons over here in four different levels. Level 1 is literal comprehension. Level 2, interpretation. Level 3, critical thinking. Level 4, that is assimilation. Whenever we study something, we should go through these all four levels. Then only we can understand the text 100%. In most of the cases, in school education and even the college and university education, what people try their best is to comprehend, to understand what is written in the text, what is written in the book, what is written in the syllabus, or what is written in the text. That is the main motive of the students and teachers. They try to memorize, they try to remind, they try to know the facts, the information, the events, the plot, whatever there. But we don't think beyond that. So sometimes there is always something, even after memorizing or knowing the 100% what is written in the book, what is given in the text, either in poem, story, essay, or any type of reading passage. So what we do is, we try to see all these units in four level interpretation, four level understanding, four level description. So in first level, that is literal comprehension. What does it mean? Literal comprehension means we simply know, we simply learn and understand how the text starts, how the story starts, who are the characters, and what happens, what is the surrounding or situation in the very beginning, and then what happens in between before it ends. Or let me summarize the things in a very nutshell. So in literal comprehension, we understand the text literally. Simply we understand, we know the plot, how the story or essay starts, what happens after that, maybe some major incidents only. After that, how it ends or how it stops or finishes. That's the main issue, that's the main focus area of literal comprehension. For example, it's something like what happens in the newly released movie of Amitabh Bachchan. That's the main issue. We need to go for this one. And then in between of beginning and end, what we do is we try our best to highlight some of the major events and incidents which are in the text. That's the main issue. Let's check this one, the invitation, how we do four level of interpretation over here, literal comprehension. And in literal comprehension, Let me read out this one. Okay, this is a poem written by Shel Silverstein, who is an American poet, and composes this poem on the subject matter of different kind of people having various attitudes and behavior could come to study the flax golden tails. He, through his poem, invites to all the people who are whether dreamer, pretender, hoper, prayer, liar, and so on. All are invited to the text of literature to be satisfied from the world of creation and imagination. It is the invitation for all type of readers. So here in literal comprehension, what we do is, we simply say, try to describe what is there in the text. In this poem, the poet simply invites all type of people of the community, the reader, let's say readers, who might be, a pretender, who might be dreamer, who might be, well-wishers, or whatever the case. That's the main issue that the poet has raised over here. That is literal comprehension. Simply, we understand the text. Now, let's move to the interpretation. So, before doing the interpretation of this poem, what we need to do is, what is interpretation? Interpretation is, it's not clearly given in the text. It's the, what the text or the writer tries to say on the basis of his text. Some people often say that it is the moral message of the story or poem or the essay, but it may not be clear. So what we try to see in interpretation is, when we read the text, how do we try to interpret the text? So here in this poem Invitation, the poet simply invites different type of people, even they are good or bad, what society often assume, and how it takes. That's the main thing. And through this poem, the poet tries to expose the reality that different type of people might have different type of abilities. Even the liar and pretender or loser can get some sort of benefits from the literary creation. So the poet tries to show how powerful the creative art of work or imagination is, how powerful. So any type of people can be, benefited from it. That's the main issue. That's the main thing that through the poem, the poet tries to interpret. Or we can interpret the poem like that way. So literature, art, or poem, or creativity is very powerful, very important, through which even the liars and pretender can be benefited, and we try our best to give them some sort of message through creative work. Otherwise, they are not going to listen us or something like that. So we need to see some creative ways to counsel the different type of people. So that might be the interpretation. How do you think? I think that way. So literary work is very powerful, and through which we can go among the people like pretender and liars and cheater also, not only to the dreamer or prayer, those people who prayer or the well-wishers are very studious, hardworking, like creative people, not only to them. Even the liar, pretender, and deceiver and cheater also, we can go among them and we can walk through our creative tasks. Art, literature can mold the heart of the very bad people also. So that might be the interpretation, what I think. How do you take this? And after that, critical thinking. What we simply do in critical thinking is, we try to see the loopholes, or not actually loopholes, but we try to see the ideas which are not that much convincing in the text. Sometimes, we see something, but that does not give us the satisfaction. We are not fully convinced from those things that we check over here in, this critical thinking. So I said earlier, literal comprehension is something like 25%, and interpretation is 50% that we have just finished, and maybe, this critical thinking is 75, and assimilation is like 100%. How do we understand? So that's the main thing we need to do. And in critical thinking, we think critically. We try to see some positive sides and negative sides. Even though we are reader, somebody has written the text which is very powerful, and he has written it from very top level, so that we are reading it in the academia and so on. But we should try to think, we should try to see some areas from where we can raise questions that these ideas are not convincing. I have some doubt regarding it. I'm not fully convinced on the ideas, something like that. We simply raise some questions in critical thinking, because critically think means asking some questions. Do not be like the horse which has something like that, and the people lead them. So you should open the eyes, and you should check this way and this side, so that you can think critically and find out some strength, weaknesses, positive, negative, and some areas, some message, some events, some characters that are not that much convincing, and which is not even sometimes that much possible. So those things are raised in critical thinking. So here, in case of invitation, what might be the questions, what might be the areas where we can really raise the question, we can show our doubt and uncertainty, or let's say we show that we are not convinced about the idea and message of the poet. If you ask me, since I am speaking over here, obviously you are listening me, thank you very much. And what I think is, in invitation, the critical thinking is this poem, how do I actually express my critical thinking over here in this title, the invitation. Critical invitation is a very beautiful poem. It's a beautiful poem, and it's very convincing also. However, there are some areas, some aspects where we are not that much satisfied. I can't be very much convinced among those areas. For example, I have some questions and doubt regarding this. Let me ask some questions. Can a pretender and liar also read and understand the poem? Because this poem is a beautiful production of creativity and imagination. The liar and the pretender, deceiver and cheater, they have very negative and wrong concept about life, about the world, about the people, even about the text. So how can they become convinced and they learn something from it? Because they are the negative mind of people. I can raise the issue that way also, or somebody can ask. One question, okay, that one doubt I had regarding this one. And another confusion or doubt regarding this, where I can really raise the question is, do all type of people are equally benefited from the same text, because they have different perception, they have different need and demands regarding their life, regarding their study, and regarding the moral message also. A deceiver, a cheater might have different philosophy in his life in comparison to the very hard worker persons and the person who speaks always true or something like that. So can all the people equally benefit it? Is it possible to invite all of them to the literary work? These questions are not that much convincing, and I am not satisfied. I have a doubt at least. It may be, but I am not sure. I can't be 100%, or I can't accept it in a very like a granted things. And last one is assimilation. What we do in assimilation is 100%. Whatever you study, not only this invitation or any lessons from this business English, anything, whatever you study, whatever you want to learn, please try to learn it from full level. 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100%. So this way you need to go. Literal comprehension, interpretation, critical thinking, and assimilation. That way you need to understand, so that you can clearly see the picture, clearly understand the text as your wish. So what we do in assimilation, it's something like after we understand literal comprehension, we understand simply the text. After that, we make some sort of interpretation based on the text. We raise some questions, doubts, and uncertainty in critical thinking. And in assimilation, after doing all these three things, in assimilation, we change our life. Whatever we learn, it should have some sort of impact in our life, through which we change our attitudes, perception, lifestyles, behaviors, relationship with other people. At least it has the direct impact to our personal life. Otherwise, learning becomes very, plain and very immature. So assimilation means how the text has impact to me, to my life. How did I change myself after reading this text? That's the main issue. It may be in my thinking, it may be in my behavior, it may be in my life, it may be in my relationship with the people. So assimilation means, that kind of impact to the learner's life, perception, impact to the student's life and perception. Here we can take the examples from invitation. Here what happens, after reading, in my case, after reading this poem, Invitation, I came to know that the literary text is very powerful. And one more thing is, every person has some sort of little degree of liar, decisiveness, cheating, and those negative attitudes in our life. We are jealous, we sometimes cheat, we sometimes tell a lie, we sometimes deceive our relatives, friends, or somebody else. But literary, it is the common ground where we can go together, that is literature. Literature is very powerful. After reading this text, I am fully convinced that as a professionally, I am a teacher of business English. I teach business English and business communication. So I welcome, like the writer, to all types of learners. Very talented, dull, moderate, some stupids, so-called stupids, some so-called liars. I welcome all of them. I start to respect them so that they can come to me. I am also going to invite all type of learners from that I have realized from this text. So that way, one poem can be interpreted in 4 levels. If you go this way, so your learning is 100%. Whatever questions you will have in exam, whatever questions you will have in your real life or professional life or personal life, you can answer all these questions if you understand whatever you are learning in 4 level. Level 1, literal comprehension, simply what is there in the text. Level 2, interpretation, what the text and the writer tries to say through this text. Critical thinking, what are the areas where we have really doubts and confusion. And assimilation, how we are going to receive and apply those things in our life. That way you need to do. Thank you very much for watching this video. In the next video, I have Unit 2, and in Unit 2 there are 3 lessons. The title of the Unit 2 is Ancient Tales. If this is wisdom, brave little parrot, and if not, higher. So these 3 ancient tales, these ancient stories are very beautiful. Please do not miss it. Thank you very much, and do not forget to subscribe our channel, so that you can have the discussion like this, and you can have the videos, and it helps you in little bit in your understanding and for your preparation of the exam also. Thank you.